Hi, super good morning to you guys. It's Gene from maverickstar Observatory. We've had some data come in from Arizona. One of our superstars, Scott, was talking to him the other day. Absolutely fantastic guy. You know, always wants the help. This is the guy who, when we were struggling to find the magnetometer chips that runs smoothly with our program, took his time out, located them, brought them and shipped them over from the US to here in the UK for us. You know, that's the sort of guy we're talking about, and we are very, 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 very lucky to have people like that on board with us at the observatory that support us and work with us and help us. And you know, I can never be any more thankful for the support that people have given, you know, in their donations and their help and their advice. I just couldn't be any more thankful for that, because it's a rare thing in this day and age, and I'm sure you guys appreciate everything that these guys have done in the background in keeping what we do here running smoothly. So you know, big thanks, guys. I don't know about you guys, but I've got into the habit of writing down things I've got to get done in the day. And I also sometimes have a long-term plan. You know, sometimes think to myself, I've got more plans than Hitler himself. But you know, it's good, I think, to do that. It's a good practice to get into routines of, you know, strategically planning out your day for yourselves and then executing it. It's like today, I've been sitting on this data from Scott for a couple of days now, and I thought, yeah, you've got to motivate yourself, get yourself on the computer, get into Excel, transfer that data into, you know, some format that people can understand it in a chart. And just looking at it at a glance, I can see that there has been an anomaly where it's jumped from 65 on the left hand column down to 22, say, something around that. But I'm not concerned about those sort of anomalies when I'm looking at these charts, because I know that's not an event. What I'm more interested in is the bulk data, and we've got, you know, as you can see, data from the 7th of the 2nd 2021 to the 6th of the 5th 2021, so it's probably, you know, 3 times larger than the data we usually get. But the bulk of the data, as you can see as well as I can, shows us that everything is nominal. And you know, you can say, oh, well, that's what we see every week, and trust me guys, that's what we want to see every week. When we start to see, you know, sporadic changes in the data, then we're going to get concerned, really concerned, because then we are on the move closer to some form of event that could possibly not be what we all want. And you know, that's where we are. But yeah, on my list, just for instance, today I've got a couple of things on there. I've got to go over to Birmingham because I haven't seen my parents for a while. I'm very fortunate to have both my parents still alive. So I live in Coventry, central England. I'll be going over to Birmingham. Anyone that's familiar with, you know, England will know exactly where I'm going. And yeah, I'll spend a couple of hours there with them, have a few cups of tea, and a catch up on what's been going on with the family. It's not the same, you know, WhatsApping someone on a video conversation. I do that, you know, frequently with my parents, and we have a catch up, but it's just nice to go and visit. So I've got that to do. I've got some computer aided design to get on with, CAD, later on in the day, and that is to finish off. I've got a deadline of around about the 15th of this month, so I've got 5 days. I've got to get a bit of a press on with that to get that laser communications device finished for ULM. And guys, you guys that are patrons, I just want to let you know that, you know, the allowance that I've managed to negotiate with the company is probably worth about, I don't know, £2,500 for our patrons. So you get to send your message into space free of charge, like I promised I would deliver. So you've got 30 seconds video, and that's audio and video you're going to be transmitting out into deep space in the capsule of photons. So just bear that in mind. That is going to be travelling out for infinity, so long as it doesn't hit something. And I know that the company that we're working with is going to be firing it in a direction where it won't be likely that it'll hit something. You know, there's a lot of calculations. There is astrodynamics involved in this, so you know they'll be trying to fire it out into deep space so that it travels, you know, forever. And you know, when you put stuff in photons are these things, particles, subatomic particles or elementary particles that are carrying very, very little mass, but are able, because of that, to travel at the speed of light. And we put data in amongst those photons, modulate it out into space, and it will travel forever. Just think about that. We've immortalized our patrons forever. You know, this planet will be long dead and gone, and our star would have supernovaed maybe in millions of years to come, but that message will still be travelling out into space. So it is part of their legacy that they'll be leaving behind. We can't immortalise people forever. You know, I know cryogenics is something that we all think is going to be, you know, something we can do. We can freeze ourselves, you know, because we've got an illness. And at a later date, you know, technology will have arrived where they can, you know, repair that damage that's done to our bodies and keep us living for infinity, yeah, so to speak. But what we can do at this point in time is just capture some of your thoughts. You know, I've been talking to a few friends about this, and they don't quite get it. And the reason why they don't quite get it is because it's such a revolutionary thing to do. But when you think about it more and more, you realise that this has got to be somewhere on your bucket list in your life of things to do to immortalise whatever you can about yourself. So that could be images, photos, a short video, obituary. You could be telling someone that you love them. You've got 30 seconds to do that, patrons, in this little slot that you've been given just for being our patrons, just as a little reward for you guys. And that is coming online very shortly. So, you know, decide what you want to put in that capsule of light, and it will be fired from, I believe, a designated area, which is in the UK, a very special area. I can't talk too much about it because I keep getting told off for revealing too much about these things, but, you know, you're going to be able to see it. You're going to get a certificate as well, and you're going to be able to see you know, the launch of your message, and after that point it is just a matter, you know, of infinity of that message travelling on out into space forever. It's your legacy. So yeah, that's for you guys, your patrons. I promised to do that. I managed to negotiate it, and yeah, it's probably, the package is probably a couple of £1,000 worth of you know, freebies for you guys. So you know, when we look at data like this, getting back to the data, and we don't see anything happening, we should be really happy with ourselves, and we should be happy with the fact that we are able to know that there's nothing happening dramatically. That's the key point here. That's what our observatory is all about. It's not about, you know, becoming an alarmist about the pole shift. It's about reporting the data that we collect scientifically, using scientific methods, with equipment that records what is taking place, and then bringing that back, putting it in a chart so that you can understand it very layman type, and not going into too much detail, and, you know, just informing you that these things are good. You know, it's like when we look at the atmospheric oxygen, it's good to know that somebody took the time out with the, you know, appropriate equipment to record the level of oxygen. You know, it's good to know that, you know, somebody's got this equipment, the CO2 equipment, to check the levels of CO2 in our atmospheric composition. You know, we've got these things here at the observatory, and that is only because some people have said, you know what, I pay my taxes to NASA, and they spend that on NASA, the European Space Agency, the NOAA Corporation, and other organisations, and I get nothing back. Gene, throw him a few bucks, and he delivers what he says he's going to deliver. That's what we do at the observatory, and that's what people get back from a little bit of funding. And we're a small smidgen on the horizon of all these other organisations, but we're delivering more to public than what they are. And sometimes we bring the food home to the table before they do it. And if you followed my site, you know that that is exactly what we've done, by coming out with information before they have, at least 2 or 3 weeks before they've announced it. And we've even corrected them on the information that they've delivered, where the inaccuracies are, and they've corrected them. So, can you imagine where we are right now, guys, and what we've achieved? I'll tell you now, if I had unlimited sources and funding, we would have something like a maverickstar enterprise, like the Tony Stark stuff, and we would be right out there. I've got some amazing ideas which I'd love to put into actual practice. It's just that the fundings aren't there. I'll give you an idea. I've got an idea through other people, based on some other people's research in the past, going back to the 1950s, on anti-gravitics, which is like anti-gravity. And look, let's face it, gravity is somewhere on that spectrum, electromagnetic spectrum, and therefore we should invest time and money into finding out how to block it out, because if we block out the effects of gravity, then there's no stopping us taking bulk cargo out into space. If we get to that level, we don't have to rely on explosive fuel. And if you watch SpaceX, if you saw the belly flop landing of the new rocket, how it has to re-entry, and because it has to be so efficient, it waits till about 700 meters off the ground before it performs this dramatic belly flop recorrection. I wouldn't want to be on that. I know it's got the ability to carry a cargo capacity of a Boeing 747 fully loaded, or 200 passengers in their luggage. I would not want to be in that rocket when it performs that belly flop move. There is just so little time to correct an error at that point, and that's why a lot of these rockets are blowing up at the moment. I know that the last was a successful landing with the Starship, but not for me, thank you. I'd rather get on something that doesn't have so much explosive fuel in it and just rise naturally out into the stratosphere. That's what I would rather be interested in, and we have the capability to do that. We really do. It's not Star Trek things we're talking about here. We've got the capability to really delve into what gravity is and understand it, and then overcome it. And when you do that, we can take whatever freight we want out into space. That means we get to build cities out in orbit of our Earth, and proper bases on the moon, and explore all the other planets within our solar system and beyond. We will come up with a way of travelling like photons at one point. We will do it, I guarantee you. I don't know how far in the future we're talking, but we are going to be travelling at probably greater speeds than the speed of light. There is, the universe has created some laws. It's not the best word to use, but it's created some laws. They're not simple, some of them, but it's created a framework. What we've been doing over the last 50 years, when we've been increasing technology, is just understanding that framework and applying it in a way which is useful for us. The anti-gravity is just part of the framework. These are the things that are natural in our universe, but we're going to come up with a way of overcoming all these things. I just wish I had the funding, and who knows, one day there might be some billionaire out there that says, he's got some great ideas. He could be the Tony Stark of the future, or the next Elon Musk, and he's well worth investing in. And you know, we take it from there, don't we, guys? And you know, even if that's not the case, I'm trying here on my own to really push forward now, hard as I can, to get this observatory self-funded. I'd have loved to have done it already, because I hate the embarrassing fact of having to ask for help. I know we shouldn't have to feel like that, but you know, I do get beat up a lot for asking to, you know, can we have some support so we can do a little bit more, and put, you know, I just hope, you know, let's just round it off to this. I just hope that, you know, people appreciate that we're not just regurgitating, you know, news that's been on the headlines or what we find on the internet. What we're doing here is the scientific approach to things. We build the equipment, we place it out there, like in Arizona, one of our superstars, Scott has got, and we collect the information, bring it back here, process it, put it up on the web so that people can see an archive of that data and get an understanding of what is really the case and what really should be concerning for them. And we're trying to cover as much as we can with all these anomalies. I mean, you know, the Earth Health at a glance is a tool. It really is, because it shows us what's going on with the active volcanoes, earthquakes within the last 24 hours on the day it was taken, the magnetic pole position, which is taken on the 17th of the month, the amount of radiation with regards to background radiation, which is gamma, beta and alpha, and then we've got the muon radiation tools and equipment to monitor that. We're monitoring that in 3 countries now: Canada, Australia and here in the UK. And you know, what more can I say? What more could you really want? And you know, isn't it when you think about it, just a shame that more people are not subscribed to this channel. Really wish we could really push out, you know, that. And you know, I really appreciate those people that share these videos as well with others, because it's only by doing that that we expand, you know, the knowledge of what's going on in our daily lives on one of the biggest anomalies that will ever affect humanity. So I could go on and on and on. I am definitely in the mood to do that, but I know you've got things to do as well, guys, and it is Monday, it's the beginning of the week. So all I'm going to do right now is mention the link down there where you can help support the observatory, and you know, hope that you do see some value in what we're trying to do and become one of those people that are supporters. And that's it. Let's just end it there, yeah? Let's not waffle on anymore. Guys, have an amazing day. Look after your loved ones, and as always, bye for now.